This is land of Havilah, Joshua 14. Several years back, Moses divided the land east of the Jordan to the 2.5 tribes. And now Yahweh has commanded in the last chapter that Joshua should go ahead and divide the land west of the Jordan to the 9.5 tribes that don't have their allotment yet. For the next several chapters, the text will lay out those borders, tribe by tribe. Verse 1. These are the inheritances which the children of Israel took in the land of Canaan, which Eleazar the priest, Joshua the son of Nun, and the heads of the fathers' houses of the tribes of the children of Israel distributed to them, by the lot of their inheritance, as Yahweh commanded Moses, for the 9 tribes and for the half-tribe. For Moses had given the inheritance of the 2 tribes and of the half-tribe beyond the Jordan, but to the Levites he gave no inheritance among them. For the children of Joseph were 2 tribes, Manasseh and Ephraim. They gave no portion to the Levites in the land except cities to dwell in, with their pasture lands for their livestock and for their property. The children of Israel did as Yahweh commanded Moses, and they divided the land. Comment: in verse 1, Israel's leaders got together to perform the division. The ones involved were Joshua, Eleazar the high priest, and the heads of the fathers' houses, which are the heads of the tribes. In verse 2, they divided it by lot or lottery, as Yahweh commanded Moses in Numbers 26. By Yahweh's command, larger tribes should receive larger inheritances, Numbers 26:54. But before we get to the division of the land tribe by tribe, first up there is the very special case of the one man Caleb and the land he wants and why he wants it. Caleb himself will explain as we go to verse 6. Then the children of Judah came near to Joshua in Gilgal. Comment: Gilgal is next to the ruins of Jericho. Israel still using that camp as home base. In verse 6, Caleb is from the tribe of Judah, and he's come to Joshua with his request. Now Caleb will remind Joshua of his history going on. Caleb the son of Jephunneh the Kenizzite said to him, "You know the thing that Yahweh spoke to Moses, the man of God, concerning me and concerning you in Kadesh Barnea. I was 40 years old when Moses, the servant of Yahweh, sent me from Kadesh Barnea to spy out the land. I brought him word again as it was in my heart. Nevertheless, my brothers who went up with me made the heart of the people melt, for I wholly followed Yahweh my God. Moses swore on that day, saying, Surely the land where you walked shall be an inheritance to you and to your children forever, because you have wholly followed Yahweh my God. Now behold, Yahweh has kept me alive as he spoke these 45 years from the time that Yahweh spoke this word to Moses, while Israel walked in the wilderness. Now behold, I am 85 years old today." Comment: in other words, Caleb's 85 years old, and 45 years ago, Israel was in the wilderness at Kadesh Barnea. Yahweh commanded at that time that Israel should go ahead and invade the promised land. Yahweh promised he'd give Israel success and drive out the inhabitants of the land before them. So Moses selected 12 spies to go north and spy the land out. Caleb was one of them. He was 40 years old at the time, and Joshua was another one of them. The spies were gone spying out the land for 40 days, and when they came back, 10 of the spies had no faith in Yahweh. They reported that the people of the land were so strong and the city so well fortified that they shouldn't attempt to attack the land. But the other 2, Joshua and Caleb, urged the people to have faith in Yahweh, that no matter how well fortified the land was, or how numerous the people, or how large and tall the people were, that Yahweh would give them success. The 10 faithless spies prevailed in discouraging the people, and all the men of war, about 600,000 of them, refused to go up except for Joshua and Caleb. Yahweh was angry with the men of war for their lack of faith, and he swore an oath at that time in very colorful language, Numbers 14:35. The oath was that he'd never allow any of those men another chance to enter the promised land. He'd cause them to wander in the desert another 38 years. He would alienate himself to them and bring early death on them so that none of them would live to see the crossing of the Jordan, none except the 2 faithful spies, Joshua and Caleb. So now, according to Yahweh's word, sure enough, Joshua and Caleb were the only men out of hundreds of thousands who lived long enough to cross the Jordan. Yahweh killed the rest during the 38 years in the desert. Caleb goes on, verse 11, "As yet I am as strong today as I was in the day that Moses sent me. As my strength was then, even so is my strength now for war, to go out and to come in." Comment: Yahweh has preserved Caleb's life for sure, but Also, miraculously, at the age of 85 years old, his strength is the same as it was in his youth to go out to war. Now, here's Caleb's point. He says, verse 12, "Now therefore give me this hill country of which Yahweh spoke in that day. For you heard in that day how the Anakim were there, and great and fortified cities. It may be that Yahweh will be with me, and I shall drive them out as Yahweh said." Comment. Bless Caleb. He's 85 years old. He's been faithful all this time, and still he doesn't want an easy allotment. All he's asking for is the chance to go out and fight one more time. And he's not asking for an easy fight. He's asking for permission to drive out the great and tall Anakim in the south. There are 3 tribes of Anakim in the vicinity of Hebron, Numbers 13:22. According to the 10 faithless spies, the Israelites were grasshoppers compared to the Anakim, Numbers 13:33. But Caleb says he's been wanting to fight them ever since he saw them 45 years ago. Joshua responds, verse 13, "Joshua blessed him, and he gave Hebron to Caleb the son of Jephunneh for an inheritance. Therefore Hebron became the inheritance of Caleb the son of Jephunneh, the Kenizzite, to this day, because he followed Yahweh, the God of Israel, wholeheartedly." Comment. We didn't get any details about Caleb's conquest over the Anakim in the vicinity of Hebron here, but we already read about it 3 chapters ago, Joshua 11:21 and 22. So this account of what Caleb said to Joshua before that battle is a little bit out of chronological order. Caleb and Israel with him were indeed completely successful in that campaign. In verse 12, Caleb made an interesting statement before the campaign. He said, "It may be that Yahweh will be with me, and I shall drive them out." He wasn't making any assumptions. He didn't receive any prophetic word of surety other than Yahweh's general word to all Israel that he'd drive out the inhabitants. He didn't say, "The Anakim will fall before me because Yahweh said so in his word." He only said, "It may be." He said it with his mouth, but with his hands and feet he said, "It will be." He'd rather talk small and deliver big than talk big and deliver small. And he was respectful enough to Yahweh that he didn't try to put Yahweh in a box. He only said, "It may be." Verse 15, "Now the name of Hebron before was Kiriath Arba, after the greatest man among the Anakim. Then the land had rest from war." Comment. Hebron was called Kiriath Arba before Israel changed its name. That's the chapter. Joshua 15 is next at landofhavilah.net. Joshua 15. This is the main camp at Gilgal. This is Hebron in the south. When they divide the land tribe by tribe, Hebron will be in the land of Judah, which is fitting because Caleb was a Judite. There were 3 tribes of Anakim in the vicinity of Hebron before Caleb and Israel wiped them out, and there are more Anakim on the coastal plain yet to be conquered. Joshua 15 is next.